What we're going to do is we're going to go over how to use this on HF, VHF, UHF, how to do digital modes, how to do D-Star, how to use it portable and mobile. Obviously you're seeing it mobile here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the less than good features on the radio. And then we're just going to go over the accessories. And we've got a whole range of accessories here. Most of these are third party, with the exception of the Icom tuner. And then let you play.
I love operating portable. It's one of our favorite things to do, and I say we because Mary Catherine and I both enjoy doing it. I put out a thing, y'all, we're actually going to be on YouTube tonight talking about, we're going to be at the Huntsville Ham Fest. We've got a forum. We're not experts. I'm probably the least knowledgeable person out here today, but I just have a passion for this and a passion for sharing it with people. I think it is so much fun to take radios out into the field. So when this radio was first announced over a year ago, I'm kind of like, I've got to get one of those.
You have the DB mode, and then you can of course go into VFO mode and set that up as well. It's just easier to do that. It has the search, near, far, FM, DB, so it's just as useful as these others, but it incorporates the other things. Joe was talking about how much stuff there is in this radio. This is a very large universe in a small package. There are a lot of stars and a lot of planets in here, and I still have yet to explore some of those areas. My primary interest is digital, but it is very feature rich. Well, one of the best times I had an amateur radio was when I was in the Air Force in Europe. I was in West Berlin when West Berlin was still surrounded by the wall, and we got a German call sign. And I had a Heathkit Hot Water 101 that I built, and I had a lot of fun. That was one of the best times in my life. Well, this is kind of phase two right here. I spent a lot of time with this guy. I've got a 7300, and I found that in terms of digital communications, I can achieve just as much with this as I did with the 7300.
So as good as this radio is, and it is very good, and it is worth the asking price, if you are connected by USB to anything, whether you're connected to a laptop, a desktop, whether you're running digital mode software, or rig control software, or whatever, the thing is highly susceptible to RF over USB. If you join the Icom 705 groups.io email reflector, there's a whole lot of discussion about this very issue. And it's interesting because there are Icom partisans, not Icom, but Icom partisans who say, you people just don't know how to mitigate RF. And there's others like me that say, I shouldn't have to drag 8 pounds of iron ferrite cores to the field just to not get RF on a mobile radio. The partisans kind of shut up about a month and a half ago. Somebody posted a response from Icom USA to their query about what's going on with this thing, and Icom USA has admitted that it has a known RF issue, and they recommend that you go use it over Wi-Fi. Apparently, because of the form factor and the size of the radio and the lack of space inside, there's just no place to go to fix that issue. Software, okay. So conceptually, think of software broken into two parts. One is rig control software, where all you're doing is you're using a laptop or a desktop to change frequencies or modes and stuff like that. And then digital mode software. WSJTX, JSA call, WinLink, packages like that. Generally speaking, if you're just interested in rig control, my experience is you can do that over USB. If you're using voice communications, you can do it over USB. And that works just fine. If you want to do digital modes, you got to go to a Wi-Fi connection.
Tuning is not built into the 705. This is a great tuner. You put batteries in it here. You can control it with the rig, and it'll immediately pick up on it, and it tunes fast. And it's got a memory, and it's got a place for a ground wire here, and it's got an adapter where you can put a random wire on it, and
it's also waterproof.
It's also waterproof. That yeah. I did not know. So highly recommend a tuner.
When you get a 705, it's naked. Okay, it's fairly rugged.
Naked.
There's a difference. It's a magnesium box inside of a plastic shell. Okay, so it is a fairly rugged radio.
I wouldn't drop it, but it is fairly rugged. But the aftermarket, of course, has come along because everybody likes brackets on the radios. So there's two out there right now. The first one is called the POV cage, P-E-O-V-I. Okay, manufactured, not surprisingly, by a guy in California named POV. He owns a company that makes aircraft-grade camera and equipment mounts, and he's a ham. It is extremely well made. It is really well made. And the other thing it does is it gives you a pass-through to connect a tripod or any other standard 1/4 by 20 connector to support the radio. According to POV, there are bolt-on accessories coming from this, because if you look at this cage, every hole that's drilled in the cage is threaded. So he's coming out with a couple of bolt-on accessories, coming out with basically a Picatinny rail that bolts at the top, designed as a bracket to hold a tuner. He's got somebody else who's working on development with him on is an actual cage that encompasses the entire radio. The third thing he's coming out with, and it should be on the market, I think by the end of this month, according to him, is, again, it's a third party who's making it for him, but it's a clear plastic cover that snaps into these handles and protects the front of the radio. This is the Heil HT headset for Icom radios. You can buy these at HRO for $20, maybe $30 a piece. Okay, they're designed. The plug is specific to Icom radios, and it's got a push to talk here. Well, Icom got smart. The connector for the microphone, it's a speaker microphone. The spacing and connectors are identical. So you can get this, put it on, hook it up to that radio. You got push to talk right here. Okay, that was a really slick thing. Nobody really knows. Icom doesn't make anything about it. Doesn't say anything about it. Somebody said, "Hey, listen, I think this might work. Let me go check it." Came back about an hour later, said it works, and it works great.
So is that the Kenwood style plug?
It looks like the Kenwood, but the spacing is just slightly different.
Okay.
Yeah. The other option for headphones, and I use these quite a bit when I'm out with my family, is just I buy these in bulk because I keep tearing them up. It's just earbuds. These are stereo earbuds. I buy these from C. Crane Company. These are designed not for music, but for spoken voice. So the radio and this laptop, which is really an Icom, a Windows 7 tablet, are talking to each other over Wi-Fi. If you follow the instructions in this, you should have no trouble if you're using the Icom software, which is what I use here. So essentially you turn on Wi-Fi on the radio, and then you turn on Wi-Fi, the Wi-Fi in the software, the Icom software on here. I have this set to access point mode, so the two devices are talking directly to each other. They're not going through a router. When I go home, I change the settings and it goes through my home router, so I can continue to get email and stuff through this over the internet. But for right now, direct communication between the two of them. You can switch between them at will interactively. Okay, just go to the settings and make the change. So here, this is the Icom remote utility. This is what makes the magic happen. I've got it set up now so it's recognized the Icom 705, okay, in this interface. And all this does is handle the communication between the two devices. That's all it does. When I turn on a software package to use, all that software package has to know is what's the COM port I need to use to get to the radio. This is set to use COM 19. That's kind of the default I picked when I configured everything. You minimize that, and I'm gonna do WinLink. Okay, so again, hooked up to that antenna. The antenna's running out to the tree. So let's fire up WinLink, and we're gonna do a WinLink HF Vera session. I'm gonna open the session, Vera HF WinLink. Okay, it's making a connection to the Vera TNC. Okay, it is. So it changed frequency there. It was hard to see, but it's talking through COM port 19. And I'll bring up the Vera interface here. And what it's doing is it's making a connection call. All right, you notice the tuner automatically kicked in. Okay. I think it made the connection, although I haven't seen it pop up here. Sometimes I can get to local WinLink nodes, and sometimes I got to go long because the bands have gone long. Okay, two stations just negotiating. It looks like there is some email, might be some email waiting for me, so we'll just let it run through here. 10 watts, 427 miles. Looks like a good connection. Okay, yep,
it received the message. It's now going to close the connection. So the way WinLink works is, if you have outbound traffic waiting, it sends the outbound stuff first, and then it pulls in the waiting stuff. 472 miles on 10 watts. It's not difficult to learn, but it is in a lot of ways different than just about any other rig out there. Certainly the QRP rigs. I should have brought mine out here. Okay, so it's the same battery pack that fits on those. You get, if you're just running on the battery pack, you get 5 watts out. If you hook it up to an external power supply, doesn't matter what it is. It can be a battery, it can be you can hook it up to a switching power supply, whatever, and you do that through this port on the side. You get 10 watts out. Now, that's all you get, okay, but it's a QRP rig. I will tell you this, it is surprising on digital modes particularly how far you can get with just 10 watts. It really amazes me. So, what